Are you tired of constantly yelling at your kids and feeling like a reactive parent? Good, because let me tell you, I just finished reading this amazing book called Raising Good Humans by Clarke Fields. In this video, you'll learn how to break the cycle of reactive parenting and raise kind, confident kiddos. Introduction. Are you tired of feeling guilty for yelling at your little ones? Trust me, you're not alone. Being a parent is tough, and sometimes our kiddos drive us up the wall. But, deep down, we all know that yelling at our kids isn't the best way to handle things. If you're ready to break the cycle of yelling and start feeling good about your parenting skills, this video is for you. Now, I know there's no magic solution to end yelling completely, but with some guidance, you can learn to interrupt your reactions, heal your inner wounds, and start building healthier connections with your kiddos. In this video, you'll discover daily practices to shrink the reactionary part of your brain and strengthen the problem-solving part. You'll also learn strategies for managing your own emotions so you can pass those skills on to your kids. And let's not forget the ultimate goal, building cooperation and connectedness to create a lifelong positive relationship with your children. Let's dive in and make a change for the better. Idea number 1. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a showdown with your little one? You know, that moment when you're staring down your 5-year-old and saying, "Don't you dare touch that vase," for the 3rd time. Time seems to slow down, silence fills the room, and before you know it, your little angel has a devilish grin on their face and proceeds to poke the vase, sending it crashing to the floor. Now, in that moment, you might feel a rush of rage and frustration, and you're thinking, what am I supposed to do? Here's the thing, those feelings are beyond your control. It's just your brain's natural stress response, and it's coming from a part of your brain called the amygdala. And here's the kicker, when the amygdala is activated, you're not capable of responding in a logical or controlled way. The part of your brain that does that, the prefrontal cortex, is paralyzed. But don't worry, there's good news too. The answer to this problem is mindfulness. Now, I know you've probably heard this term a lot, but it's true. Research has shown that after just 8 weeks of consistent mindfulness practice, whether it's meditation or yoga, the amygdala actually shrinks and the connections between your prefrontal cortex and the rest of your brain grow stronger. So, as much as we might be jaded to the concept of mindfulness, it's truly the best and only practice that can help us break the cycle of yelling, punishing, and raging at our kids. Here's a little exercise you can try to get a good grasp of what mindfulness means in the context of this video. Pick an activity. It could be washing the dishes, going for a walk, taking a bath, anything. Let's say you choose washing the dishes. To practice mindfulness, you're going to slow down your mind. Instead of rushing through the dishes to get it done, begin inhaling and exhaling deeply and intentionally. Listen to the sound of the water. Take note of how it feels running over your hands. Give names to any feelings that arise. Be mindful of each moment in the process. And that's it. You've begun training your brain, teaching it to take control of its perceptions. Keep in mind that this is a practice, meaning it is ongoing and requires consistency. This is also the foundation you're going to build your new, amazing parenting skills on. Idea number 2. We all have our own little quirks and issues that can pop up when we least expect it. But the key is to be aware of them, so we can work on not passing them down to our little ones. When that vase hit the floor and your kiddo was cackling with glee, you probably felt a whole bunch of emotions. And that's totally normal. But it's important to understand why you reacted the way you did. So, take some time to think about how similar situations would have played out in your own childhood. What would your parents have said or done? How did that make you feel? The goal here isn't to beat yourself up for your reactions, but to have compassion for yourself and understand where those triggers come from. And once you've identified them, give yourself a little pep talk. You got this. And remember, practice makes perfect. Keep on with that mindfulness we talked about earlier, and when something triggering comes up, try to take a deep breath and walk away until you can deal with it in a calm, intentional way. Idea number 3. Want to know a little secret? You're not alone in your struggles as a parent. We all have our own set of issues, and if we want to avoid passing them down to our little ones, it's time to get to know our triggers and why they happen. But don't worry, we're not here to beat ourselves up for reacting badly. We're here to model love to our kids by first loving ourselves. And one of the best ways to do that is through self-talk. Next time you're about to give yourself a hard time for messing up, ask yourself, would you talk to your friends that way? If the answer is no, then you shouldn't be talking to yourself that way either. It's time to replace that inner voice of blame and shame with one that's kind and compassionate. Imagine if, when you mess up, a kind voice said to you, I noticed you were feeling very upset when you yelled at your child. Something must be bothering you. Want to talk about it? That would be pretty great, right? It would give you the chance to understand yourself a little better and make a plan for how to handle things better next time. And the best part? This is the same advice you'll be getting later on for how to talk to your kids. How you talk to yourself sets the tone for how you talk to them. But before we move on, let's not forget about self-care. It's not just a luxury, it's a responsibility. So take care of yourself, mama or papa. You got this. Idea number 4. You know those emotions you have? Yeah, those ones that make you feel all kinds of things like anger, sadness, and frustration? Well, they're not the enemy. In fact, they're your best friend. They're like your emotional GPS, guiding you to where you need to go and helping you navigate the ups and downs of parenthood. But here's the thing, sometimes our feelings can get a little overwhelming. Especially when our kiddos do something that makes us see red. Like when they intentionally break a vase after we told them not to. Insert eye roll, but instead of ignoring those feelings or pushing them away, it's important to acknowledge them. Say hello to your anger and let it know that you see it. This is the first step to managing those big emotions. And when you do, you're giving your brain the opportunity to start weighing in on the situation. And once you've calmed down and your child has calmed down, you can begin to investigate the feelings and the situation. Approach it with open-mindedness and curiosity. You don't have to fix anything right now, you just need to connect with your child. So, the next time you're feeling those big emotions, remember, feelings are allowed and they're not the enemy. Acknowledge them and give yourself the opportunity to understand and navigate them. Idea number 5. Connection starts with listening, and that's the key to building a strong bond with your little one. When your child is upset, like when they accidentally break a vase, the first thing you want to do is practice reflective listening. This means putting aside any judgment and helping them identify and name their own emotions. For example, if your child says, I don't know why I knocked over the vase, you can respond with, you wanted to see what would happen to it. And if they say, no, I didn't want to break it, you can say, you didn't want to break it, but you knew it would break. The goal here is not to ask questions or solve problems, but to understand your child's feelings and help them understand it too. By doing this, you're not just helping them manage their own feelings and behaviors, but you're also building a strong connection with them. A connected relationship is a cooperative relationship, with no judgment or punishment, just learning and growing. Now, let's talk about that broken vase, shall we? We'll get to that next, but remember, the first step is always understanding and connecting with your child. Idea number 6. It's important to remember that you matter too. Your needs are just as important as your kids' needs, and it's important to prioritize them. So go ahead and make a list of things you need, whether it's sleep, affection, time with friends, or even a vase that isn't broken. And don't forget to take care of yourself, not just for yourself, but also to set a good example for your kids. And when it comes to communicating your needs, remember the power of I messages. Sure, They can be tricky, but using them the right way can make all the difference. Instead of saying something like, "I feel like you broke my vase on purpose to make me mad," try saying something like, "When you broke my vase, it made me feel sad because it was a gift that I really liked. Now I have to clean it up so that nobody gets hurt on the dangerous shards." This way, you're stating the action in a non-blaming way, describing your honest feeling, and also explaining how the action affected you. So go ahead, prioritize your needs and communicate them in a healthy and effective way. Idea number 7. Conflict is a normal part of life, my friend. Wherever there are people living or working together, there will be bumps in the road. It's just a fact of life. But don't sweat it. Conflict is just an event where two people have needs that they feel aren't being met or might not be met. But don't get down on yourself. There's no need to feel guilty or bad about it. Instead, let's focus on finding a good strategy for managing these situations. First things first, remember that when someone is upset, they're not going to be able to communicate or problem solve effectively. So before anything else, you and your little one need to take a moment to calm down. If anything messy or dangerous has happened, like a shattered vase, take the time to clean it up. Once you're both feeling more level-headed, it's time to talk. Start by identifying what needs each of you have. Yours may be to have an orderly and safe home, while your child's needs may be to get attention or feel the security of good boundaries. Next, invite your child to help you brainstorm a solution. At this stage, there are no bad ideas. Then, evaluate your ideas and find one that meets both of your needs. Decide on a plan of action and finally, check in on yourself and your child to make sure that you're both being taken care of. See, managing conflict can be easy peasy. Idea number 8. UST wanted to remind you that it's the little moments that count when it comes to building strong, healthy relationships with your kiddos. Sure, practicing mindfulness and emotional regulation are important, but don't forget to have some fun too. Hugs, playtime, and even just 10 to 15 minutes of roughhousing can go a long way in building trust and connection. And don't forget about chores. Giving your little ones tasks to do not only helps them feel independent, but it also teaches them responsibility and helps them feel like they're contributing to the family. Speaking of responsibility, setting boundaries is crucial for a healthy relationship. Respect each other's things, and make sure everyone knows the rules for chores and fun time. But remember, just like with anything else, conflict is normal. When it comes to boundaries, there will be disagreements. But that's okay. Use reflective listening and cooperative resolution to manage the conflict, and you'll be strengthening your connections even more. And most importantly, remember that building strong, healthy relationships with your kids is a practice that will continue to reward you for as long as you're a parent. Keep at it, and enjoy the little moments along the way. Summary. Parent extraordinaire. Just wanted to remind you that you're killing it as a parent, just by actively working on improving yourself. And let's be real, who doesn't love a good self-improvement journey? By incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine, you'll be able to handle your own emotions like a pro. Reflective listening will help you communicate with your kiddos without any judgment or bias. Teaching them how to express their feelings, using I messages to express your own needs and managing conflict in a way that benefits everyone. It all adds up to a happier household. And let's not forget the importance of connecting with your little ones. Trust me, with practice and dedication, you'll start seeing the positive changes before you know it. Now, the insights and knowledge I gained from reading Raising Good Humans were phenomenal. I highly recommend it. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and if you found value in this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Trust me, you won't regret it.